improve as they go through series. Like I have to give this to London. I think Endpoint it is like such a good map for them, but London seems to be one of the few teams actually in this tournament who can carry momentum across multiple games. They showed it into the CEX series. First game, they lost. It was very close. Second game, they won. Very close. And the third game came out and stomped it. And so I think we'll see it very early on whether that will be the case or not.
Well, let's see. It's a pistol round, a very early on round indeed. Endpoint going with the utility straight into the B bomb site. Great counter flash to the CT side. They lock it down with TKs. 3 players fall, completely untraded on the London side. It's a near flawless round of pistols to the favor of London Esports. And while you're talking about momentum, that's one hell of a way to show it.
Definitely. So an Endpoint, not going to be happy with that. There's going to be some like, why did you shoot me? Like, there's going to be a bit of maybe some irritation in the camp there from Endpoint's point of view. But CZ's coming out, Desert Eagle as well. Lazar on that -1, you know.
Second time he's been there, actually.
He needs to stop team killing, dude. Come on. It's not cool. Bannable offense. Thank you very much. But see if we can redeem himself, get to a 0 scoreline. Not going to be the case. Stanley takes him down. Thomas replies, though, with a nice headshot. Adila playing very aggressive. Astrovice, definitely the MVP from last map of Mirage, was phenomenal in that. Taking his time, just holding the angle. So connector control is definitely given over to Endpoint, but it's whether they can use that to effect. There is a CT player, I think is Eccles in that position. Right outside the door, he's going to do a contact play, but nicely traded. He tries to pre-fire the tunnel, thinking that they're going to come from that angle, but they do not. Ardilla takes a huge amount of damage coming through, but Endpoint is positioning, maybe, to go around this B site. It looks like they're just trying to rotate players around. And the bomb is actually going to swing towards T-spawn. Okay, someone disconnected, so there's something going wrong. I think it wasn't a player who was alive, was it?
No, it was Eccles that fell. So it's still a 3 versus 4 scenario as Endpoint make the moves into the bomb. So Soulcast low, Soulcast dead. Next thing to face is Lincoln. He goes down with the same. And Endpoint do force the issue, leaving it all on Astro as the last man. 1 versus 3. Molotov's in, does force Pulse into an awkward position, but he's got so many other T-side players to worry about that I don't even think it matters. Smoke's in, he'll try and find some a bit more cover. Got to face around the other side, got to find these 2 frags, and again, Pulse and Thomas in such good tradable positions. This looks like it's going to be a first on the board for Endpoint. Kill, not found against Pulse. The Masters turn it around. 3 kills for Thomas as well. And Endpoint, again, firing back very, very quickly in this one, Novi. You thought London, they had a very confident pistol round, but just as confident from Endpoint in the follow-up, you know?
Yeah, I think this is all about Endpoint denying London that momentum, denying them that confidence. They've got to show that they're not scared and they're going to play their own game, which is what they did on Inferno. They came out, guns are blazing, and they just was like, yeah, we're better aimers than you, we'll prove it. And then it came to Mirage, and they were playing scattered, they were playing scared, they were playing slow, and London just punished for them. As soon as Astro started getting on the ball with that AWP, they completely had mid-control just down, and there was nothing they could do. So, unpause is coming through, so I think they fixed the issue now. Oh, no. All the players have to vote, please. Thank you very much. I hope that will end soon. But sort of sketchy buys across the board for both teams, really. Got to give the advantage over to Endpoint, a lot more utility, Kevlar and stuff, but still not a great buy. Like, the only real quote-unquote good weapon is the AK, and that's going to be in the hands of Pulse.
Let's see what you can do with it. Still loves it down on -1, by the way. Still not.
See how long he keeps that. Like, he just really doesn't want a donut. That's the thing. He just doesn't want to sit on 0 kills. That's the issue.
-1 is worse though.
No. The donut. Come on, the donut is called the donut for a reason.
Nice.
Okay, no, I'll give you that. Definitely give you that. We'll discuss donuts afterwards. That's an interesting pause topic we can like rely on if we get another technical pause. Stanley though, using that MP9, I think it was, to good effect. Sprays, get a bit of damage, doesn't try to push his luck too far, backs off Ardilla, bears the brunt of that force, going down to 49 HP.
Endpoint losing a HP advantage, not losing a man advantage though. No picks coming in for either side just yet, means that London's defensive could hold as the B bomb site hit comes through. They've stacked 4 players in. They've left Astro with a scout out towards the A bomb site, and nothing will come through from him. He's gone a bit aggressive, seeing no presence from the T side. Endpoint Start to get ready to go towards B. Here come the smokes. Soulcast forced to move forward a little bit further forward than he really would like. Thomas will be able to get the spray dink down. Lost damage up towards him, trying to spray back. Able to get the trade, but no, it's standard. Gets the trade back. Gets a second frag as well as Link follows up. It's a 3 versus 2 scenario. Damage done to the CT players, but with Astro in rotation and now out to the heaven area, almost out of the headshot of one man. Looking back in, he unscopes at the worst possible point. It doesn't matter. His Link's got an AK. He turns on to Artist. And now Mighty Max is all that remains. 1v3 scenario. It looks like London, just as much as Endpoint were going to force the issue back against them, they're going to force the issue back against Endpoint.
Tries to find the head of Astro, not going to take. Eccles domes him with a CZ, takes off his head, gives him a quick little lobotomy, and that'll be 2-1 to London. So we're going to and throwing, so at least looking a little more competitive across the board for both teams. Both teams, you know, showing that they want this, trying to play the best Counter-Strike that they can. Interesting buy coming out for the T side. I think maybe they know that they've done such huge damage to the London economy. If they can win this, they can set them on some kind of eco. They will have the economic advantage carrying on forwards. But it does mean 3 of their players will have CZs and Tech 9s.
Yeah, not the best of buys going from Endpoint, but they want to win out this war of attrition. London would be the eventual winners if it continued on for all 30 rounds. Very close, facing very close towards each other, London. They can break this now. They can to get that advantage right there. It's hard. It's going to assistance from the AK and Mighty Max facing back against Stanley next to the M4. Does get caught off guard, takes another frag as Eccles backs him up as well. There were 4 pieces on the T side. Pulse will get 1 frag, but that's not that much. 2 AKs recovered by London. And there it is. It's a 3rd on the board for the CT side. An immediate tactical pause coming in from Mighty Max and Endpoint as well. So they realise just as much as us how much of the momentum swing London can potentially gain out of this. So
they can slow things down. What I'm worried for Endpoint is they'll do what Na'Vi did in the final of the Face It Major against Astralis, is where they can pull some of these rounds really, really close, but they can't close them out in those last, when it's like the 1v2s, or the 2v2 situations. So although they're doing huge economic damage to the CTs, they're not actually putting rounds on the board. So it doesn't matter in the end of the day how many people you kill if you don't end up winning the round. And it means that both not just their economy, but also London's suffers, but London still ends up with the wins. And I can kind of see that happening. There's been so many rounds where they've got those opening frags and then suddenly they walk in and then like Stanley or Link will just get 2 kills, or Eccles will have a flank or something like that. And I'm fearing a bit for Endpoint. Like we said about momentum, and the thing is that they come into this better than they did the Mirage game. However, it's not enough at the moment. London's still in front and still bearing the brunt of what Endpoint has to throw at them. Seeing P250s come out, Thomas, Ardilla, and Pulse. So this should be bonus points. Pad the stats for London. Unless Stanley whiffs everything, we'll find Mighty Max. No, it's Astro. Kobe's him with the bank shot with the frag grenade. Ardilla will take out Stanley at the end of it. So that'll be an MP9 picked up. Not the best of weaponry you want to find, but it's better than nothing. Could definitely give it to Ardilla or Pulse, one of these players with more HP. Swap and take the P250 instead. Or I think he's already got one. Thomas is feeling confident. Lazza still on -1 kills.
That might change right here. Nope. Never mind.
Never mind.
Say. The Glock could do something about that for now. Astro taking out Pulse. Looking in for the 3rd kill. Not quite the 4th. And Thomas keep things going at 21 HP. 3v5 scenario. 4k almost for Astro. Or 5k almost for Astro. Got the 4 in the end. Yeah, Ardis and Co. all fall into the hands of the man in Connector. Leaves it all on Thomas once again to try and clutch it out for a 4k. And against 3 rifles again, I don't see it being very likely. Possible, but not very likely. And with 21 HP, you know, it makes it even worse. Like, it's such a slim chance of getting the one-shot headshots against head armor players. Actually, I'd push to say it's impossible for Thomas. So, 25 seconds left to go. Trust if we can get a bomb plant. If not, die trying, get the loss bonus for it. Anyone towards the ramp position, Link will try and hold back on water. Damage will be done to Soulcast, but Soulcast will be able to deal with him. And there we go. 4-1 on the board. London starting to spiral up their CT side, but 3 rounds of loss bonus to Endpoint. They're going to start to buy in of their own right. 3 AKs, 4 AKs, 5 AKs coming through. The 4 AKs at CT side.
Now, Endpoint. They've got to show something else than what they've shown in the last map and so far on Overpass. They've got to show the performance which they were on Inferno. They're finding those opening kills and trying to get the map control. They're putting so much pressure around Connector, which they've done almost every single round, and London's just not contesting it. Instead, they're spreading out, usually around the top of toilets. This time they're not. They're gearing it towards a B push, trying to predict. I think that's a 4-man stack as well. Flash goes out, but that connector push means they will get A-side control, and they might be able to find Stanley. So Mighty Max definitely heard that shot go, so they know that there's a player in A-long. Ardilla will get the information, but I don't think Thomas will get there in time to try and cut him off, so that they'll know the position of Stanley and roughly where he is, and know that they can probably get A-long map control if they so wish. Still means 3 players are on the B site. Thomas throwing some utility over, trying to see if they can pull in some rotation. Defensive smoke's going out as well. Astrovice finds Lazar from some angle. Very nicely done. I think he played very aggressive in that position. Takes things down. Even though he goes down to 22 HP, he still gets that kill, and 35 seconds left on the clock. Eccles is still waiting. Stanley could be devastating on that flank if he gets there in time. Thomas does open things up with Link. 4 versus 4. Flames end out, and Thomas is going to be unleashed. No, blinded. He stays back. Molotov is thrown in front of him as he blitzkrieg onto the site, but Soulcast has an answer for Ardilla. Mighty Max gets 1. Thomas gets a second, but there's still a CT player on site. Pushing around, Soulcast is in the smoke. Doesn't seem to be found. Pulse finds him, but he runs out of ammo. Thomas takes him down, left in a 1 versus 1, trying to find Stanley. Roughly knows where he is. He knows where the player is now. Goes for the bomb down. Molotov goes through. That might burn. Thomas is going to start cooking his feet. He gets caught out. Stanley takes down Thomas, and that'll be London getting so... You see what I mean by the fact that London is still managing to win these rounds, even though Endpoint is doing most of the things right and is bringing it down to such close odds.
Yeah, Thomas almost got that 4K as well. If he got that clutch, that would have been the most insane thing in the world. But just the damage being done by London, just enough to force them back. Great utility usage from London as well. You know, you were saying Thomas unleashed, and then he got flashed.
Yeah.
And then he held back, and then they stopped, and Endpoint had to rethink the way they were going to take that rush together. So good stuff coming in from London, as you say. Endpoint getting most of the work done, but London just doing that little bit more, just that ever so tiny amount more to give them the slight edge and give them the round overall. So,
I was going to say it, and you know what would completely change this around and put Endpoint in the lead? If Lazar started fragging. Like, he's literally had, like, the only impact he's had in this game so far has been negative. Ardilla, though, and Thomas, again, being these bright sparks for Endpoint, managing to brute force their way into the site. Mighty Max as well. M4 is picked up as well, so that will be Endpoint's round. Choosing to save as well. Very smart decision. As we said, London's economy is being damaged to high hell by Endpoint. They're hammering it in every single time and aren't able to close in these rounds. Finally, they're able to do it, and you can see that London is forced to save. They can't even make this play. There is no justifiable reason for them to go for this because it makes no sense. If even one of them dies, even if they manage to somehow get the round, their economy is in such a bad shape that it makes no difference.
Yeah, second back on the board for Endpoint. London to decide whether they want to go for a full force in this one or just go for the half bite. You know, you take a look at that scoreboard one more time. You know, you're talking about Lazar doing not that great again. We're going on to 8 rounds into this matchup, and he's still on -1 kills. This is not good numbers to be posted from one of the main men of the Endpoint side. He needs to start doing something to try and turn that around against London. This could be the time to do it right here. They're going to have... What are they going to have is the real question. A force buy out? Actually, some rifles dropped. Yeah, it will be the force. 2 for Marcius, 2 M4s in the AWP on Astro. Limited utility on Link, however, everybody else getting full sets out. They're lacking in head care off for Eccles, but that's fine.
Interesting Endpoint as or an M4, and then Lazar keeps it rather than giving it over to Thomas. He's of course performing a lot better. Thomas instead deciding to keep the Mac 10 for the entry frag. And Ardilla's definitely stepped up this game, looking considerably better than he did last map. Definitely warmed up. That's Endpoint breaking things apart for London, trying to find that start, that entrance that they can start going to work, but it's flanked by Stanley. They have no idea he's behind. Ardilla gets killed. He relays the information just quick enough, and Lazar is finally on the board, ladies and gentlemen. Finally has some positive impact in this game. Only took him 7 rounds, but he's there, and he's hopefully can do what Ardilla did and get back into this game and be that difference that Endpoint needs to try and win this series.
Not over yet, though, Novi. 3v2 scenario. London have a HP advantage above at least, well, a massive advantage over 2 players and HP advantage of all 3 of them. They've got to move now. Defuse kit on Soulcast. He's got to stay alive. He faces in towards bank. Good flashbangs coming in from the T side, but 2 players towards long. They can go down with a single spray. Smoke on the bomb. Actually blocked up by the Molotov, and can they get the kill? No, Soulcast is going to go down. It's all on Link to get the kills, and no defuse kit on him. He hasn't got time to go pick it up. Full face against La Plaza, take him down. But in the end, it's a round that just got held back by a single couple of frags coming in, and Laza does get himself positive on the board. Finally, overall, 1 frag for his name. At least there's something coming out, but still. 3 on the board for Endpoint, just barely holding on against London. There should be an eco coming out from the CT side as Endpoint look to try and stack their rounds up once again, look to try and bring a decent half in this third map.
Yeah, Endpoint can breathe a sigh of relief. They're finally in a position of strength. Economy looking not phenomenal, but certainly not bad by any means. They have a bit of money in the bank, but not if Stanley's going to play like that. Does get traded out. Thomas recovering that. Laza goes down first. Ardilla again, every single time is pushing from his connector, and London gets caught out every single time. Ardilla again, though, this time the other way. Thomas, though, picks it up with the headshot, like peeking over his teammate's shoulder, and it's up to Astrovice, like the incredible player from last map, not having a too bad game himself this time. But I doubt that he'll be able to clutch this out, and Thomas is proving me right on that one. 3K coming through for Thomas. He's getting angry again. He's warming up. He's on 12 kills already, and we're not even close to the half yet. So Endpoint looks like they're alive. They're not dead. They're not out yet. They haven't reached the end.
Not yet. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Still left for both sides. In fact, London also with a buy in with the M4s and the AUG coming out from Astro. Of course, that helps being on 3 rounds of loss bonus. And look at the execution coming in. Endpoint again going fast into the beat. Ardilla to get the opening frag, and Thomas to follow through. The Mac 10s going ham. And Soulcast, Astro, and Stanley, a 4v3. Stanley guys at one point. He gets a pulse, turns around for second frag, but can't get it on Mighty Max. Damage to 56. And a man advantage still maintained by the Endpoint side. Backstab also coming in from Soulcast out here towards Monster Face against Laza. Laza will take him down, and Astro is left to save with the AUG. Endpoint now starting to look really, really good, as you say. They're starting to look alive again. Going to equalize this scoreline after a dire performance in the second map. A pause will be called by London Esports. A tactical pause at that, obviously. This one just got very, very interesting, I think, Novi.
Like, definitely so. Ardilla, I want to watch that back and see if that was from the connector position again, because otherwise that's 3 times, 3 rounds in a row that he's beaten Eccles from that position. Like, which is actually insane, the fact that there hasn't been any adaptation and they've punished him for that push. Like, I got to give props to him and Thomas. Like, London keeps on getting these opening frags. Astrovice has been like a monster. Stanley as well, finding these flanks. And then Ardilla, mix the game plan up. Let's do a fast buy into connector. Let's not just sit around and waiting for them to pinch around and get the map pressure. Let's do something different. And Ardilla and Thomas are definitely proving that point and doing really well. Ardilla's only on seven kills, but literally the last 3 rounds he's got to kill every single round. Like, and he's traded 1-for-1 minimum, which is all you could ask for really on a T side. To have a player like that who almost every round is guaranteed a kill. It's such like, it takes the pressure off the rest of the team to try and find that opening, that opportunity and create that play. Now what is London talking about? Like, they looked in control. They looked very in control. Endpoint looked very shaky. I mean, Laza, it took so long for him to get off the mark. So what's London saying right now?
That's what I'm thinking about myself. What are the comms looking like in that camp? You know, are they stressed? Like, you know, Banks brought it up on the desk as you were talking earlier. You know, what is the mindset of London right now? Are they stressed? Are they calm? Are they trying to reset themselves from being stressed, or are they just, you know, having it, getting in each other's ears right now? Like, what's the current situation in the London comp camp? They will be going into the CZ buy, obviously, by this pause, obviously thinking about how they want to approach the next round with the AUG in play. If they want to force buy around it, they obviously decide they do not want to. And max loss bonus coming in, of course, they'll have rifles in the next round anyway. So
it's definitely a correct decision. It means they can get a decent buyout here. Like, I mean, it's not the worst in the world. You've got 4 fully automatic machine pistols, as well as the AUG and Astrovice, who's looked deadly on that weapon through this entire tournament. using it very well. Stanley, though, backing up in this position, does see Thomas. Thomas is running forwards. He will get the kill, but should get immediately traded back. Ardilla takes him down. This time, brute forcing their way onto the A site, but they do have time. They have plenty of time to call for the rotation. Rather than trying to force this, flashes will come out. And this might be the wrong call. Eccles takes down Ardilla, but Luzza does manage to trade back. Mighty Max as well, finding the wallbang onto Eccles. 2 versus 3. Mighty Max going very low. So does Luzza as well. It's not going to be enough. They'll peek together, double peek it, and Endpoint. It looked a little hairy there against the CZs, but still managed to come out on top.
And take the lead back away from London. Now this is where the meat of things really starts to rise. The double op setup coming in for Eccles and Astro. M4s together. This is going to be a full buy round, a very heavy buy round. It won't be enough to tilt things back in the favor of London. Endpoint obviously have the AKs back in, and they've got plenty of cash being saved up from round after round of play. But Eccles with a nice face down from Connector takes down Artist as the opening frag. Seen a couple of AWP peaks coming in throughout the course of the day on Overpass, but very rarely have we seen them actually get a kill. This is one of the only times on Eccles' part, and again, it's a nice pick for London, a nice start. Okay, we've got a load of information on where they could be playing in from. We haven't seen any more players towards A bomb site. We're going to rotate in that third player towards B, keep the utility going to do some damage, because we've already got the man advantage, and wait for Endpoint to start peeking in. The boost could come through, however. Luzza, looking on for Mighty Max's position, watched how this plays out. Oh, you can see Toxic. Oh, he gets shut down. Link reads it so perfectly. A 5v3 London. Taking full control of this round, it seems. One last pushing from Endpoint. Pulse is on 6 HP. There's no way this is going to work out.
Yeah, might want to look at a position, just cause some economic damage at this point. Try and pressure them as much as possible. Get that AWPs out of those hands. That's like super important at this point. And Thomas definitely has that objective, working with Mighty Max. 1 kill apiece. They might even get onto B site, be able to plant, but there is a CT player very, very close. Soulcast gets 2 of them, and it's Mighty Max left in a 1 versus 3. Not looking too good for him now. Trying to find Soulcast, backs off from that position. Knows exactly where it is. But the AWP of Astro Vice will pick him off. They don't manage to eliminate those AWPs from the hands of London. However, I know they still got money the players can drop, but it will mean they'll be a little light on utility on some of the players, which won't be too great. But London, definitely that pause has come to help them. They've found a strategy that seems to be working, that double AWP setup. I think, like Ardilla, I said, was doing the same thing, like 3 rounds in a row and won it. So Eccles goes, give me the AWP, I'll play aggressive, I'll find you that opening kill, I'll beat him. And that's what he does. But now we're seeing the inverse of this. Endpoint's going, fine, you want to play aggressive? I'll play aggressive. Ardilla runs straight to the site, but gets shut down by Soulcast. Thomas immediately trades back, but Link, Stanley, and Link again for the 3rd kill. Takes down Pulse, now shut down Endpoint's push.
London starting to take control once again. The pause has worked. They've refound their mentality. They've refound their life going into the last couple of rounds of this half. They will be once again limited on economy stats, but they have worn down Endpoint to the point where if they win this next round, they could have a very, very good eco or force buy up against them for the last round of the half. That could be 9-6, a great CT half. It could be even better considering Endpoint starting things off on their T side will be on the back foot for the second half. And London, loads of opportunities now set up for themselves. Again, all the stats and all the cards say Endpoint. London have their chances still at this one. The Mac 10s going forward. Ardilla, Ardis trying to get aggressive for the Endpoint side, trying to find a good angle against them. The smokes and Molotovs will come through, and he just fails his run boost for the 2nd time on the bench area. Can't seem to get up there for some reason. I'm not sure. I've seen a lot more players fail it these days than I used to see them back in the, back about a year ago. I'm not sure whether that flower pot just got higher or what happened there. Either way, it means that London going to have to... Endpoint not going to be able to gain control of that position. Not going to have to push Artist further down the long area as Luzza gets the opening frag on Astro. Mighty Max going to support him as Stanley gets down Artist back over to the long position of 4 versus 4 now. 2 CTs on the bomb site, 1 from back, 1 over at the truck position, and Soulcast from truck will get dealt with. So now, rotators coming in from London. Great flashbangs will keep Mighty Max at bay. Not going to allow this bomb plant to get planted just yet. 40 seconds on the clock. Endpoint continuing to pressure. One pop will come through as Thomas takes down Stanley. A 2 versus 4. Eccles and Link are calling in the save. They have to. They have no choice.
Yeah, their economy. They do have money on Astro Vice and a bit of money in Stanley, so those 2 will be able to buy, but the rest aren't in a particularly strong position. I've got to give huge props to Endpoint here, right? Like we highlighted, Luzza was struggling with the rifle so much. The economy wasn't there for him to finally get the AWP. the time they finally get the AWP, they put him in a position where he can get that confidence back. He can beat the other AWPer. They both, it was a triple peak. And like, even if they trade 1-for-1, Luz is gonna hit that shot all day. And not only did that, but Astrovice didn't even manage to get the shot off in time. So that was really, really well played by Endpoint. Playing around, like, yes, Luz has been having a pretty bad game so far, but they have that confidence in him to go, right, we'll use you to get that opening. We trust in your AWP ability. So do that for us, and it's showing. And that's the kind of confidence that Endpoint needs to, like we said, they're aimers. And a lot of these mechanical players are all built around that confidence, that like quote unquote ego, but it's true that they need to get hyped. You know, they need to get into this game, and nothing gets you more hyped when, you know, your team is supporting you like that.
And the cool thing about that is that support has also enabled us to start getting some frags on the board. It's not many, but it's 5. And again, considering you started off the match with like -7 rounds in at -1, you know, that's still you know an infinite improvement right there on the Endpoint player. So let's see if his AWP can get an opening frag, or whether it can just support the general push. Endpoint quickly making their way into the default positions. Not going for the full-blown rush here, and that's more than fine. Continue making their way around towards short area. Thomas is going to aggress. Got one player in the form of Eccles with one of the AWPs out here, ready for the first shot. The first kill against Pulse, and he lands it. Head taken clean off, brain splattered all across the short position. 60 seconds will remain for Endpoint. They've lost the early advantage of London, continuing just to hold down decent defenses. They will actually rotate. But I'm going right back over to T-Con. They haven't accounted for where Stanley is, right around the corner from Ardis on this mid position. All the teams are going to wrap things up. Is he going to find a frag on Mike Max? He might be able to do so. Indeed, he takes down Thomas, ending his life, ending his run here in round the 15, and now just runs back up towards long, allows rotations to come in for London, but Endpoint have made their way onto the bomb site.
30 seconds left, and there will be a CT player. You've got to keep an eye on number 5, Stanley, in that position, and A-Long can flank at any moment. 25 seconds. Ardila doing his best to try and clear this out. Listen for the steps. There's a scope comes out soon. Ardila, nope. He does manage to find Eccles, which is actually a really good frag for them. But Soulcast and Astrovice have something to say about that, leaving Lazar in a 1 versus 4. That's probably going to be the round. Does manage to get 1 kill, but gets shut down. Endpoint loses the round. London, 8-7 for the half.
It was a good performance, you know, from both sides. It looked a little bit awkward from Endpoint to start things off. Obviously, London taking those that 5-1 scoreline at the 6th round. You know, Endpoint came back. They brought it within 1. They almost equalized. They got it very, very close to equalizing right there. But yeah, well played from both sides. Again, you're expecting a much more confident performance from Endpoint, which really plays into London's favor, because if Endpoint are strong on their T-side and they're a generally T-sided team, what can London do here? Can they shut down that CT force? I mean, they've had arguably their own best half of their own right. So what does the future hold? We don't know. And it's the closest scoreline we can get. Appropriate for the grand finals, I'd say, in Ovi. As we move into our final pistol round of the Grosvenor CSGO Championship. Double flash and smoke on 2 players for the London side. It looks like they're going full-blown execution into the B. 1 player comes through, but a face in Eccles just shuts down. Mike Max executes him, taking his head off his shoulders. Pulse will try and back, and Thomas moves on through. They've aggressed down short. The bomb will make its way in from Monster as one more frag comes in, a dink down on Pulse. A bomb plant out, a 4v3, favor to the CT side, with rotations also coming in from Pizza. Over in from Heaven. Lazar trying to find his angle. Astro will try and cover him off. Keep an eye on the ramp, the bridge position as well. Ramp completely empty from the London side as Pulse moves forward. The bomb gets taken clean out by Astro. Looks back in for a second. Can't do it onto Ardis. 2v3 scenario as Astro is the next casualty. Gets on the bomb, paps it once. Actually, Eccles going to nice time. Eccles going to get the headshot as well. They combine aggressive down the CT half of the map, and Eccles with a 3K gets London an all-important pistol.
I was going to say, we said it's all about confidence. London definitely stepping up theirs. I was going to say that Endpoint's like win condition here is getting enough money so they can get like an AWP set up for Lazar and maybe one of their other players, and just play super defensive and just play around him in essence. But if London have rounds like that where they're just going to steamroll them, keep their economy down, there's not much Endpoint's going to do, and this will soon spiral completely out of control in London's favor. Oh. Just looking for information on that HE grenade. You don't usually see players peeking with a grenade. Usually it's like a smoke grenade or a Molotov to peek an angle to then like block the rotation. You don't usually see someone doing it aggressively with a HE grenade as much. But definitely in that position, if you've got a rush coming through, deal a huge amount of damage. But Bomb playing very far back. right back near the T spawn. Stanley in this connector position. But it looks like the bomb will be swinging around towards this B side, where 3 CTs are waiting for them.
And no casualties as of yet. Endpoint trying to see if they can stack up the B bomb site with the force buy. Astro and Stanley lurking over on the A portion of the map in the mid position. In fact, Stanley might even face against them, try and pull off a fake. He's moving further forward. This might actually get quite interesting here for the CT forces as he aggresses down, looks for the kill on the A bomb site. Damage will be done between them. Actually takes down Pizza. They actually rotate the player moving against. Oh my god! They move in against the pistols, which shut the whole damn thing down. Trades will come back eventually from Astro. Eccles another kill as well. But 2v2 scenario. Endpoint have brought a serious chance with the scout shots coming in. Second face not quite landing, and Mighty Max in a 1 versus 1. Astro with the AK, 10 seconds, the more versatile weapon. Still gets tagged by the leg shot. Mighty Max in a 5-7 taps, not quite landing. And the bomb will get planted on default. Astro, however, cannot move from this position. Completely pinned down with no utility. Neither for Mighty Max. He spots, but Astro wins out the fight and just keeps double digits for the London side. That got way too close for Endpoint, but London just hang on.
Just hang on. Mighty Max is going to be kicking himself for that. He did phenomenally well to bring it that close, but, you know, I can definitely imagine he'll be the kind of player who'll be like, oh, I should have hit that shot. This is the perfect time to Endpoint, really. Probably following around, they're going to call a timeout, something like that. Make a game plan. Obviously, what they're doing so far isn't working. Like, how do they strategize against London? However, they've done a brilliant job of trying to keep London's economy contained. 2 Galils, a MAC-10, and 2 AK-47s. The thing they really want to avoid is that MAC-10. They do not want to give that cash over. But before they realize that, and they give Soulcast the opportunity. 1 minute 20 on the board. So a lot of pressure around this toilet side. Almost B is completely given up. So trying to find player rotating around in a weird position. We've got a really friendly spectator bug. One of the terrorists is being shown as a CT, which is lovely. Yeah. And feeding the Soulcast, feeding the MAC-10, not looking friendly. Oh, nice headshot. And Thomas is left. Oh, he's lonesome. Doesn't manage to pick up on anything. Soulcast takes him out. 11-7.
There's one more CT still in play. Can you see that?
If you look at the mini map,
nothing wrong with panorama, guys. It's a feature.
No. It's not a bug. Yeah, it's not a bug. It's a feature. 2 Galils coming out. See what's picked up for the final T side as well. So SG, AK is thrown over to Link, and then Astrovice buys the SG. But Laza has that all.
What can you do with it is the real question. He needs to start getting some impact on the board for Endpoint London. Starting to run away with this one. Can they keep it rolling? Molotov's going to get set up alongside the smokes. Great flashbang in from the CT side. They will continue to burst the spray. But now moving on. Toxic Barrels is the place they have to check. They haven't checked it much over the course of this matchup. Endpoint will be able to get the first frag as a result. Mighty Max with the opening frag back over on the A bomb site. Thomas gets a second frag back on Stanley as the push continues to get shut down. The CTs, they have found their confident round. Mighty Max continuing to frag. As Artist finds an angle, tries to find an angle in the middle of the smoke. Finally, Thomas does get traded back to a 2 versus 4, but it's a 2-man advantage for Endpoint. As the bomb is yet to move on, already Soulcast calling in the timeout for London. Burst fire is Ardilla to take down Astro, and finally a shot coming in from the AWP. Endpoint, 8 on the CT board, finally start things off on their second half. But London, as I said, calling in a very, very quick pause off the back of that those initial couple of frags. They know that Endpoint can work off of this. They just need to shut it down now.
Yeah, it's I'm glad you noticed it, because I didn't even see that. I was just watching what was going on, like the pure carnage that Endpoint was dealing out, and like that was such a quick reaction. They were like, "Oh, yep, no, they look strong. We need a new plan." So London, see if they can come up with anything. Still, although they've looked very, very good in essence across this map, still only a 3-round difference. Like it is still incredibly close. If Endpoint can string together just few rounds, like their economy, it isn't great, but if they can keep that AWP, if they don't lose too many players in the next few rounds, they can just start steamrolling us, and they can just grow out of control to the point where even if London can fight back, they still have the cash in the bank, the pillow of money, of you know, Gabe Newell's money just sitting there in their banks.
That's a lot of money.
To use. That's a lot of money. You know, he spent you know, only like a couple hundred on Panorama. That's why he saved all the rest of it. As you can tell from the brilliant spectator bug on your screen, where you can kind of see a CT player. He's changed side. You know, he's decided that he agrees with the terrorists. And there's also a green player as well. It's a new side. Oh. Valve, by the way.
London opting for the force buy. 3 AKs, a CZ, and a MAC-10. Here they go, straight up into the bathrooms area. They challenge, they take down Pulse, he drops Eccles to 2 HP. How the hell does he stay alive? That's a question I'll be asking until the end of this grand final as they continue to push, but Pulse will take down Stanley. Back away with 2, 3, 4 frags. The CTs lock it down. Astro with the final frag, but it's only Wiltering. Laza with 2 frags on the AWP, and that's 9 on the board for Endpoint.
And that's the minimum, that's like the lowest acceptable standard that Endpoint can have, which is losing 2 members. Anything more than that, and London can slowly chip away the economy because it's going to be too expensive to try and rebuy. Losing 2 players isn't the worst case scenario, especially as long as you keep Laza alive. And Laza was in that position was so scary. If he whiffed that shot on A-Long, that round was completely different. Oh my god, the grenade damage. Eccles is just getting a repeat of last round. He's like, what the hell? I'm on 6 HP again. How did this happen?
And now the utility comes back into play for Endpoint. You know, London had a great set of utility usage on their CT side, but now the damage really coming in from Endpoint, again feeding into their aggressive style. And London will pay the price for it, now facing out towards the bathrooms. And also on the long area, this is a task to do against the Endpoint side, the M4s, the AWPs. So ready for whatever Stanley and co have to throw at them. They face down, do not see him past the flower pot, so that's fortunate enough. That's far on the edge of the smoke. We'll spot Link at the very least. We'll know exactly where he is. Re-smoke damage is completely suppressed. As London, 60 seconds to make this hit work. It's going to be blind peaks and a blind rush, a dry rush. In fact, no Molotovs, no smokes, nothing, any sort of value to speak of in terms of utility. Mighty Max and Pulse lock down a crossfire. 1 frag going to their favor. The teams make their way on the bomb site, and eventually they do lock it out with USB shots coming in from Pulse Fields on 1 more frag. And a kill on Thomas to close it all out. And now Endpoint are within 1 of London's lead.
Yeah, within 1, and look at the money they've built up. They have money in spare just in case if things go wrong. And it's the perfect position for them. Laza, again, got so much cash in the bank as well, just in case he needs to rebuy that AWP. Full utility coming out as well. But Astrovice looked incredible on Mirage. Like, more so on the CT side with that AWP, but if you can make the difference, but that utility Endpoint doing what they did on Inferno.
That was 1 nade, by the way.
That was one nade. Look at that damage.
Soulcast, stealing that straight to the face at that point. So much damage done by Endpoint, and they don't even know about it just yet. All they know is that London, they've thrown a nade. London also progressed pretty far as well. You can take a look at Stanley in the top left-hand corner of the map on the long position. Watching down past the flower pot area. We'll hear some footsteps also to the mid position, so we know that there's at least 1 CT holding back in the bathrooms. And smoke separates the CTs and the T side players. 60 seconds left on the clock. Stanley getting tagged up pretty hard as he makes his way into the A-bomb site, but just completely alone. No back around it. They will find the SMG. Looking on for the first and the second. Headshot comes through. Pulse and Laza are down. A 4 versus 3, a 2-for-1 trade in the favor of London.
They're
and
rotating
immediately
rounds.
they're going to rotate back in. They've still got presence over on the B-bomb site in Eccles, over on Monster. As they open up Squeaky Door, the flashbangs come through. Thomas is so ready for this, as is Artis. Back close behind the smokes. 38 seconds after he faces as Eccles takes it down to Thomas, the tank engine, but he'll engine and tank no more. Mighty Max, all that remains. 1v4, and he's going to save this one.
Yeah, definitely going to save at this point. Not worth. London, though, breaking that loss streak. How many rounds did Endpoint win in a row? Was it 3 rounds, I think? Something like that. Yeah, 3 rounds. So London breaking that loss streak. It wasn't a massive one, but still, they lose 1 more round where Endpoint gets a lot of members to survive, then suddenly things look very, very dangerous for them. Endpoint will be able to buy into this next round. Would be interesting to see. Doesn't look like they're going to. It'd be interesting to see if they take a tactical timeout to go, wait, so how do we lose that one? What went wrong in that one? How can we adapt? Mighty Max finds Eccles though. And honestly, yes, you want to keep the AWP out of their hand, but you do look at, okay, they can still buy, but like,
Well, that's the thing,
Like-
right? They can buy it, but that's all they
Was
can
it
do.
worth it?
That's all they can do. They can just buy. They
Yeah.
have no money to fall back on. If Endpoint reset them here, then they're looking at maybe a 13-12. You know, and London put themselves in a really, really bad spot trying to hunt down for these rifles. At the same time, though, Endpoint have also been down to reset territory as a result of the hunting. You know, they have lost 4 players. They've only got that all back in play. And they will try and see if they can get that first frag. Lazar out towards mid, cannot get the shot that he wanted, so he just decides to back off and play for the long position. And London know how crucial this next round is. Endpoint know how crucial this next round is. Both players, both teams want to try and play this to a T. They want this next round. They know that if in certain cases, actually, they may even need this next round. London, they're not denied. They could be going on to 14-10, maybe even match and tournament points. This T side currently looking like they are on the verge of success in the Grosvenor Grand Finals. The boost up from Astro takes down Lazar, kicks things off to the favour of London.
And Lazar doesn't respect London. For Astro Vice to pull something like that out is instead expecting a wide peak on the A-long position. He gets punished for it immediately. And that's up to the rest of Endpoint to try and bring it home. Pulse does manage to pick up that AWP in that position. Astro Vice takes the bomb, and it looks like it's gearing towards a B push. However, the CT's sitting on A site, and I don't know if they're going to rotate off or not. Yeah, I think they think it's an A push, and Stanley's going to reaffirm their suspicions, give the B site open to London. London's going to walk in, take the bomb. Pulse does manage to take Stanley. They've got to know something's up at this point. They've got 25 seconds, and they're not seeing any players.
Bomb will go down as a
There
result.
we go. They've realised now.
4v4 retake for Endpoint. This is about to get a bit interesting again. They realise now. Are they going for the save?
They're saving. They're saving. And like I've got to say, this is it just is the right decision. Like at this point, like if they die, it's 13-10. London basically gets a free round. It's 14-10, and then maybe they can pull out like a buy at that point. They might not even have the AWP, which means if they lose that, suddenly it's match point, series point, tournament point. So
honestly, do you know what? With how aggressive Endpoint have been, I'm very, very shocked that they decided to make the save. You know, I agree it's a smarter play, but I thought that they'd try and brute force their way to victory.
Yeah, I can see it happening.
You know, like it's a surprising play, but again, I'm more surprised rather than disappointed or you know, angry or like just confused as to why Endpoint wouldn't do it, because it's completely understandable. As you say, you know, it's a smart idea. It's just surprising from the Endpoint side.
It's giving up 1 round, but it means they can start contesting now rather than in 2 rounds time. Like it makes sense, but as you said, I was just surprised. It was such a quick call. Like usually it's some umming and ahhing saying, can we get an exit frag or something, find an opening, but no, it's
not even risking it. That's
everyone on the same page. Grenade goes down.
Actually, from Lazar this time, doesn't actually do as much damage onto Link and Astro, so first frag almost found that flake. That would have been glorious to start the round off for Endpoint, but no. London quickly make their way into the mid control. Standing and look for this opening frag on Pulse. They can find it out towards the bathrooms. Great opener for both sides, and it's the Endpoint, the ones that win it out.
Pulse finds Stanley. Stanley's looked insane this game. Definitely been a key player for the London side, but we couldn't ask for a better match so far in this grand final, 13-10. But Endpoint has the advantage. Bomb is gearing around towards the B side. Eccles is waiting just in case some CTs push, but look at the aggressive positions held by, I think it's Ardilla and Thomas, I think, if I'm reading that correctly on the minimap, or I could just look there, that would be a bit easier.
Yep.
They got that aggressive position. The rest of the players are all on A though. They've got to predict that something might be up. Mighty Max, is he going for the rotation? No, not just yet. They see the utility going out. They've got to start rotating off now. There's the smoke, defensive smoke going down. That huge grenade coming through. Ardilla can pick up just a couple frags. If he gets 2 here, this is done. This is Endpoint's round, but it's all on these CTs, but they're taking so long to get onto the site. But Ardilla is whiffing, but he somehow wins that. Beats out Eccles, and that's perfect. Soulcast does manage to take down Pulse for his troubles, take down Ardilla, and suddenly we're left in a 3 versus 3, but the HP bars are so low for London. 20 seconds left, and the bomb is only just getting to site. Lazar takes down Link as well. Does go down to 7 HP though. Everything comes right back down. Everything goes quiet. 10 seconds left. I don't think they'll be able to get the bomb down. It's such a risk. The CTs are lurking. Thomas finds Astro Vice. Soulcast does manage to get the bomb down. Left in a 1v3 situation. Needs to do something insane at this point. He's tapping away, but he doesn't find any players. Thomas takes him down. 13-11 Endpoint.
Wow.
Endpoint London, but Endpoint won the round. I'm just getting so hyped at this point. This is like seeming both the first 2 maps were kind of one-sided. It's so exciting, and thank God that the final map is going to be this close.
Yeah, after 2 majorly stomping maps, it's a really nice change of pace to see London and Endpoint, the 2 teams on the top of the UK scene, making it felt exactly why they are the 2 teams there. 13-11, London going to force the buy. Endpoint, if they win this round, they stand to equal the scoreline. London, if they reset Endpoint here, they stand to take tournament point here. The championship trophy hangs in the balance of round 25, potentially. As Endpoint play out their default, aggressive towards B bomb site this time, actually. Thomas and Luzza are down over in the short area, in the water area. Trying to look on for a frag on a T-side player who will aggress down towards Monster, but nothing will come through for them. So they've got pretty decent control of the B bomb site. Now all they have to do is just back up Connector and back up the A bomb site with 3 other players. So that's Mighty Max, Pulse, and Ardell. All playing back on the A bomb side, trying to see if they can catch off any other T-side players that make their way inside. Of course, the mid position being taken by down by 2. Eccles holding back in Connector as well. Bomb out on the long position. And certainly committing to this A bomb site. Flashbangs will come through, and actually they'll rotate Luzza back out as a result, back over to the B bomb site, ready in case he needs to go to A. There's a bit more short of rotation time as a result, so Endpoint covering all their bases as the T-side make their way inside. The flashbang will come from Astro. Here comes Soulcast with the first peak. That's what it's great. He gets taken down. Mighty Max drops the bomb link with a quick trade back away as Pulse frags. He gets traded. Ardilla frags, trying to look for the 3v2, the 3v1. Potentially is one to kill, and it will be lights out for London. No! 4 HP. Eccles stays alive. The bomb is allowed to get planted as a result. The incendiary will hit the bomb site, but doesn't go to any of the T-side players. A retake for Endpoint where they are at the advantage, but 1 kill from the orb. Damage being done to Thomas. Spotted. The flick does not land for Astro. He gets tagged up, looks back in for another quick flick, but he can't seem to do it. Endpoint held back. Thomas spotted, and there it is. The kill comes through. It's all Luzza with the AWP. 1 versus 2. No defuse kit. Switching out to the M4, trying to catch this man off. Does not know where Eccles is either, and Eccles will finish the job. 14-11. London resetting Endpoint.
God blimey. They've got timeouts left. They could call one now. They're choosing not to, going straight into this round, choosing to force buy. They're not playing for overtime.
That's such an Endpoint force up right there.
I feel like the smart decision would have just been to wait, but not going to be the case. Astro Vice maybe having some issues.
Why is Astro not moving?
There we go. He's got going. Slow start. But this could spell doom for Endpoint now. Force buying. This is like, this is beyond a must win. Like, they lose, this is it. This is game, this is match, this is series, this is the championship.
Round 26. Mark it in the record books. As London go into the B bomb site, CTs will make their way back around. Good spray coming in. Soulcast is very, very low. Link was tagged up a little bit as the teams trying to find their way back in. Ardilla will get the first trade. Thomas and Mighty Max will fall back in. Trade a lot more damage done to the CTs on the bomb site. And Ardis is the last man left. 1v3. No chance on this one. 15-11. A must-win round for Endpoint. And now London within touching distance. They are there on the stage, ready to lift that trophy up. Match, map, tournament, and circuit point for London. Everything for the past 3 to 4 months has been leading up to this point here. With Deagles out, 5-7s and CZs for the Endpoint side. London know they are at the advantage. Now they're going to get cocky out here. Yeah, the execution coming in a straight up rush. The Eagles need to get some headshots. And back on towards them. Going to do a ton of damage on the Soulcast. Astro, Eccles, Link all tagged very, very low. CZ Spray will line up, will take down one on Thomas's part. Trying to see if he can hold down Eagle on Mighty Max. Endpoint may have found a life point here. Spray tap up. The AWP misses entirely. Almost landed on the headshot. Damage being done to 53 HP. And a 5-on-3 to the favor of the CT Pistols. How are they staying alive?
Endpoint with a miracle play. How? That's the utility usage. Again, we've highlighted it so much through this tournament. The HE grenades is so much damage that the Pistols could just run in, start doing stuff, but Stanley is going to try and shut that dream down. 3 versus 3. Endpoint getting pushed right to the brink. Stanley gets taken down finally. It's 2 versus 2, but it's a 2 5-7s versus an AWP and an AK-47. It's all up to Luzza now. There's a HP player, gets the AK-47 as HP on Eccles is so low, 17 HP. One bullet.
AK. Use the AK. Get the headshots. Tap for the first
one.
He's taken down! Astro with the AWP shuts down the clutch. Endpoint held on by a thread for just a few moments. Their final lifeline just gets crushed by the champions of the Grosvenor CSGO Championship, 16-11, a 2-1 series. It is London Esports. Now, I don't mean to brag,